But that being said, it's tricky. If you tend to underwater, especially, you know, I think a lot of lithops die from underwatering. I did an experiment and took a lithop that was completely severed from its root and just stuck it in some sand, did not water it, and waited to see how long it would take to look like it was dead. I knew there was no way it was going to recover, but I just wanted to see how long it would look like it was kind of okay, because obviously we don't pull our lithops out of the ground and look at their root systems and make sure they're healthy or growing. We look at the top and assume they're okay. To my surprise, it took about, some of them took, I had a whole pot that I did, which I know this sounds mean, but I'm a hands-on learner, and I did not want to keep killing these guys, and so I have done so many different experiments to get to where I felt really comfortable. But it took 8 months to 12 months, so a year from the time that there was no root. So it wasn't taking any nutrition or anything up. It was dead for all practical purposes. It took a year to look like it was dead. And it's not like it kind of shriveled and then looked half dead for, 4 or 5 months. No, it looked great for about 6 months and then slowly shriveled. And it was hard to tell, if it was really dying or what for quite a while. So, if you don't water enough, the little root hairs on these guys will die, and they'll look fine for quite a while, but they're not fine. So while underwatering is better than overwatering as far as how quick you kill them, if you underwater, it's also really, really difficult to tell that your lithop is dying until it is way too late, not just a little. And so that's why a lot of times people are like, well, it was fine, and then it's not. Either you overwatered it, or the root has been dead for a long time and it just limped along, which it's just because they're so great at holding water. They just keep holding it, but they have no root to take up new energy to make a new set of leaves. So once this set of leaves is done, that's it. So don't be paranoid about watering your lithops and watering them well if they need water, and if it's in a growth cycle, a time in their growth cycle that it's okay. And a good example of that is when they're blooming. When they're blooming, it's a great time to water them, and they tend to use a lot more energy and water making their blooms. And right after they make their blooms, they're going to go into making their leaves. So you want them to all be nice and plump and ready, because you're going to then restrict their water a lot. So let's see. What else should I tell you about these guys before I water them? Just an interesting fact. Lithops only bloom white and yellow. Conophytums have lots of different colors, but lithops only have the two. Let's see here. There's some debate on whether all lithops have a taproot, but either way, in general, most lithops do have a taproot, and because of this, deep watering at least once or twice a year is really, really helpful for them. And so all of the recommendations that I see online that say, well, it's better to underwater than overwater your lithops, so don't ever drench them, just always spray them lightly with a spray bottle. That's a really bad idea, actually. Barring the few varieties that are made to live like that actually were used to having the winds and the fogs kind of moisture, give them their moisture. Other than those varieties, it really is harmful. The roots need a good soaking at least once or twice. And I live in northern Idaho, and at some point in the winter these guys do go under the grow lights. It really depends on the type of winter we're having. Otherwise, they're in a southern facing window. And I hear the water once or twice a year, and if I did that, all of my lithops would be dead. I water, like I said, from midsummer to late fall, I water every couple weeks at least. And then in the spring, I water a couple of times. And in the winter, I usually water at least once or twice. But it totally depends on their growth cycle. If they're making new baby leaves, absolutely not. But just making a flat rule of never water in the winter really is not a good idea if you're getting greenhouse grown lithops that are confused about what season they're in, because they may not think it's winter, and so you may be withholding water at the wrong time. So, I think this video has gone on way long enough. I am sorry for the rambling. I hope it's been helpful, and I'm going to move my camera over to the sink and show you how I water these guys and kind of how I choose which method and some reasons. So I hope that's been helpful, and happy growing, and I'll see you in a minute.